It's the biggest movement of people in modern Latin American history. Over 8 years, more than 7 million people are believed to have fled Venezuela, spanning out across South America and beyond. For many, the journey begins here on the Simón Bolívar Bridge that connects Venezuela with Colombia. The sheer number of people that have crossed this bridge since 2015 would threaten to overwhelm the services and upend the politics of countries far wealthier. And yet Colombia currently hosts some 2.5 million Venezuelan migrants, implementing a range of measures both addressing the crisis and creating opportunity for migrants and host country alike. Bogota, home to nearly 8 million people. In the Colombian capital, we met Decibel Bravo at the beauty salon she started after leaving Venezuela 5 years ago.
Una de las razones principales para migrar a otro país fue la situación económica. En servicio de una educación fueron 10 años, donde ejercí coordinaciones de 2 años más alto. Aparte de eso, fui profesora de química y biología. Ya mi carrera como tal ya no ganaba lo suficiente.
It's a big decision to move your life to a different country.
Sí, fue muy difícil. Una decisión muy fuerte, muy dolorosa.
You arrive at this bridge. What did you think about what you saw there?
Lloré mucho porque es que me quería venir, pero me quería quedar con mis papás.
With 7 bags, a 5-month-old in her arms, and a 10-year-old in tow, Decibel crossed a bridge similar to this one, carrying everything to build a new life. The first step, getting the children into school, accessing healthcare, and finding a job, all of which the Colombian government has worked to make possible for new arrivees.
Fue un poco complicadito al inicio encontrar como el cupo, pero después fue muy satisfactorio. Fue muy acogedor donde estaba la niña y el niño. Ya fue un poco más fácil porque ya fue avanzando los años y ya pues el gobierno ha facilitado al venezolano la educación y la salud.
Because her teaching qualifications were not accepted at the time, Decibel says she couldn't accept multiple job offers to return to the classroom. But with permission to work or start a business, she became an entrepreneur, supporting herself and her family and creating jobs for others.
Y este oficio no es solamente económico, es sentimental, porque me encanta lo que hago.
Latin America as a region has come to the fore to share responsibility for hosting Venezuelan migrants, an exercise in regional solidarity that has few, if any, global parallels. Colombia is home to about 1/3 of all Venezuelans hosted across the region. In the face of the exodus, successive Colombian governments from different political backgrounds implemented a response that has been both pragmatic and visionary. What began as an emergency crisis response evolved into temporary rights to work, access to services, and ultimately medium-term status. More recently, Venezuelans have been allowed to apply for 10-year protected status.
Everything except the political rights.
Alejandra Botero Barco was on the front lines of the migration response as a senior member of Colombia's government from 2018 to 2022. During that time, she saw the migrant population evolve from individuals seeking short-term work to entire families staying to build a life there.
It definitely has a sense of permanence that maybe wasn't there before 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago when it was more temporary just to find economic sustenance and bring it back. Now it has a more permanent nature.
That massive surge of migrants has put Colombia under tremendous pressure. I asked her why the government had not attempted to shut the border.
The frontier is so large that there's no way to close it. And we've always had that shared history. I mean, there are many children that are registered at school here and live across the border. Or they come and go to the market here and then come back. And that has happened for many, 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 many years. And then I think there's also this very important sense of solidarity because of that fraternal history that we share, I think. It was more of a question of how should the instrument be that is permanent enough that they can actually build a life. And that is also going to help us as a country economically as well.
In short, the government gambled short-term pain for long-term gain, footing costs up front so that over time, Venezuelans could contribute to the Colombian economy. To do that, many of the rights that citizens enjoy were extended to arrivees.
So they can do everything except vote. They can have a job, they can have access to the social health care system, they have obviously access to the education system, to the social programs, everything. I think that it's extremely positive. And I think it's a wonderful example for the rest of the world.
The success here shouldn't be discounted, but there have been problems and much remains unresolved. Different governments have worked very hard to make sure that Venezuelans can stay here and work for up to 10 years. But what happens after that? Must they return? Is there a pathway to citizenship or legal residency? These are questions that are going to have to be resolved, and until they are, there's a lot of uncertainty hanging over migrants' heads. In the meantime, Decibel Bravo and migrants like her continue to benefit, even thrive, under Colombia's migration policy.
Quiero expandir mi negocio, algo más grande, muchos más servicios.
And despite the challenges, the government recognizes that the short-term investment in its holistic migration strategy could potentially provide long-term economic prosperity for everyone.